All of my life. All of my life. No, when you think about it, it's all of your life. All of my life. Even when I didn't know I had a life, God has been faithful. Now I want you to meditate on that for a minute. I have to learn how to be thankful because all of your life, God's been good to you. And I don't want you to think about materialistic blessings and calling that good. God's been good to you when you weren't good to yourself. See, I want you to meditate on when you weren't doing it right. I want you to meditate on when you was out of God's will. I want you to meditate on when you messed up. But don't nobody know you messed up. And grace and mercy of God took care of you. See, don't nobody really know how messed up you really been. Because when you come in here, it's all polished up and dressed up and hair down and shoe down and necktie down. But God knows when you was in that mess. And don't nobody know about that mess like you know about that mess. And that's what I mean when I say, and God's been, you look, he's been good. And you ought to know how to be thankful. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk to me up in here. Y'all gonna try to get dignified on me up in here. I wish I could make God put your video up there. And show you what don't nobody know. You start shouting all of a sudden. And you know what I mean when I say he been good, because he hid it. He protected you. He kept you. He held you up. All my life, he's been faithful. All my life. I can't say I've been faithful to him all my life, but he's been faithful to me all my life. When I was trying to wipe me out, he was faithful. See, we got a piece of life we don't like to talk about. And we got some stuff that don't nobody know about but God. And that's why we said thanks be to God who gave us the victory when we didn't know what victory looked like. We didn't know what victory felt like. We didn't know what victory smelled like. All my life. All my life. See, you got to stop sometime when you know, when everything looked like it looked good, but you got to remember when it didn't look good. and you don't know how you got out. But the Lord brought you out. And you don't know how you made it. But the Lord made a way out of no way. And that's not a cliche. That's a truth. That's a truth. And so when we walk in here on a Sabbath morning, we ought to let it all out. We ought to let it all out, you see, because he's been faithful to us when we were not faithful to him. And we ought to let it all out because he didn't have to do it. Oh, somebody work with me this morning. We here to celebrate, but he's been faithful for all 28. And before the 28 started, he was faithful. And he was faithful when you was in the ditch. Because he's God. And somewhere in the midst of us acting like Christians, we have to humble ourselves and realize that none of us have to be here. And we really didn't have to have it this way. And he didn't have to give it to us this way. Because we didn't do anything to get this way. And all my life, he's been faithful. He was faithful when I wasn't faithful. He was faithful when I didn't even know this way. No, when I didn't know this way. This way. He kept me when I didn't know I was being kept. Before I got to this way. See, we can dress it up now, but I remember when I couldn't dress it up. When this was not my outfit. When Sunday morning was Alka-Seltzers. Not praising God. He always been faithful. I know I'm taking some of y'all back and you act like you don't want to go back, but it's in there. We got this stuff that make us look like we always been there. But he was faithful when you were not there. That's how you got there now. Because he was faithful when we were not faithful. They say he gave us a way to the tree of life. And he's been keeping us ever since then. And all that you've been through in your 28 years and the years before that, he was faithful. When we didn't know what faithful was, he was faithful. When we couldn't spell faith, he was faithful. When we didn't know what it was like to walk by faith, he was faithful. When we didn't have it to make it through and we made it through, he was faithful. We have to understand this is not a moment for you to show up. This is a moment for you to show out. Because you didn't have to be here. Over 1 million people have gone up out of here in the past 2 years, and they not here, and you still here. He been faithful when we didn't know what faithful looked like. My God. is an awesome God, and he reigned from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. My God is an awesome God. He's faithful. We don't understand faith because it's been prostituted in materialistic. But you got to know faith from being faithful. And if you ever realize how faithful he's been, you can't do nothing but walk with God. When you realize how good he's been to you when you were not good to him, you will then understand faithful. That our God is a faithful God, and he's always been faithful. He was faithful when you was on drugs. He was faithful when you was when you were driving drunk. He was faithful when you had no license. He was faithful when you was illegal as you could be, and he was still being faithful to your life until you got where you are now. He's always been faithful. We feel like now because we are somewhere, we are faithful to him. But he's always been faithful to us. So I can't do nothing but walk by faith because he's proven his faithfulness before I even understood what walking by faith was even about. We done messed up faith because we turned faith into materialistic. And as long as we could see something materialize, we felt that God was faithful. Let me tell you something. If he does nothing else for you from this day forward, he has been more faithful to you than you've been to him. And God is always faithful. Y'all celebrating 28 years, but he was faithful to you before the 28 started. When we understand that your faith is on trial, let me say that again. When you understand that every day you wake up, your faith is on trial to stay with him. But I can't do nothing but stay with him because he's been faithful. I didn't say the church. I said him. I didn't say your denomination. I said him. I'm not talking about Mount Zion. I'm not even talking about God of deliverance. Every day, you can walk out that door and never come back. You have that will. That's your choice. You can stop at 28 and go out that door and never come back. But that does not make God not faithful. God is faithful every day. We are nothing but servants of God. And we chose to walk with God, but we can also choose to not walk with God. Any day. And you'll turn around and say, I don't know what happened to Pastor Anderson and Lady Anderson. I don't know what happened. And right after you finish having that conversation, a voice from heaven would say, but I'm still God. A voice from heaven would say, but I've been faithful to you before there was a Kenneth Anderson or a Janice Anderson. I was always faithful to you. I heard God. They done danced to that song many times. But when you hear the Spirit speaks, that if anything done kept you over 28 years, it ain't been the people. It's been how faithful God has been to you in the midst of everything. And when you got weary, he strengthened you. And when your body got attacked, he brought you back. And when you went through trials that thought you would break your heart, he showed himself faithful to stand you back up and preach the gospel just like why? Because he's been faithful. Your faith has always been on trial. All my life. See, you got to count them things called birthdays. And you start realizing that he was faithful to you every day until you got to learn how to be faithful to him. He was always faithful to you because you shouldn't have been here, but you're still here. And it should have took you out, but it took you over. And it should have came and wiped you out, but it cleared the way for God to do what he had to do because he's faithful. All my life. All my life. When you didn't know how you was going to get out that ditch and life looked like it was shattered, faithfulness said, that's my son. Faithfulness said, before he was formed in his mother's womb, I knew him. Faithfulness said, let me turn around and tell you, I don't care what it looked like, I know where you're going. There's an Alpha and an Omega in your life. And right now, you're still in the middle. Because he done showed himself faithful. But he's always been faithful. When he says, Jeremiah, don't tell me about you a child and you can't do this and you can't do that. I knew you before your father got with your mother. and a seed met an egg. There's a spirit of you that I've always known. And I don't care how difficult it was and what the situation was and the environment that you came out, I brought you through it. And I don't care if you were scheduled for abortion, I brought you through it. And I don't care if you was an accident, you were never an accident in my sight. Because I was faithful to you when you was a thought. And I've proven myself faithful to you. I don't care how many times you tried to abort it. And I don't care how many times you quit, I was faithful to you. And I don't care how many times you fell down, I was faithful to you. And I don't care how many times you tried to give up, I was faithful to you. And I don't care how many times you tried to abort my mission for your life. I was faithful to you. I made a way when there wasn't a way. I took your worst situation and turned you around. I turned your disobedience into obedience. Because that's how faithful I am to you. When you went the opposite way, it was I that put a roadblock in your way that you couldn't make it where you were going, because that's how faithful I am. When you married the wrong one, I made another one that turned your life around and bring you back to the original of what I had planned for your life. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk to me up in here today, because God is faithful. And every day your faith is on trial of whether or not my God is an awesome God. Whether or not my God reigned from heaven above. Whether or not my God, who spoke everything into existence and looked at it and didn't need a board of directors that said, and it is good. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk to me up in here. Whatever he did, he looked at it and he said, and it is good to me that I did this because I'm faithful. Somebody in here thinking about giving up. You can't give up because he's not gonna give up. Somebody look like they're not gonna make it, and he said, it's no way in the world you won't make it because I'm your father. You don't know how you coming out. He said, you can't do nothing but come out. I am Alpha and Omega. I created the earth. The wind belongs to me. The sun belongs to me. The moon belongs to me. The rivers belongs to me. The seas belongs to me. That's in this sea belongs to me. Everything belongs to me. What you mean you not gonna make it? To believe that you will not make it is to believe that he's not faithful. My God is an awesome God. The world look like it's going crazy. Fear all around. Murder. There's a spirit of murder in the earth right now. And some of you are trying to desensitize yourself to looking at it. But let me tell you something. Whether you look at it or not, it's raining in the earth. But my God said before it's all over with, every knee's go bow. Every tongue is going to confess that I am God and that you're going to give me glory and you're going to submit yourself to me, and I'm Alpha and Omega and I'm the beginning. He said, don't worry about it. The world will wax worse and worse, and I will begin to show myself faithful. Be encouraged after 28 years that your God is a faithful God. Be encouraged after all that you're looking at on the television. Your God is still in control. Timothy said in the latter days, they will turn away from sound doctrine. Don't ever stop preaching the way you preach it. Don't ever water it down. Don't dumb it down. Don't soften it down. I don't care what they say on TikTok. I don't care what they say on Facebook. I don't care what they say on Twitter. Don't you ever stop preaching the way you preach it. Don't you ever realize that, don't ever stop preaching the uncompromised gospel of Jesus Christ, because your God is an awesome God and he's faithful to you. For us to water it down, it's like turning our back on God and say, I'm watering it down because God, it don't look like they're receiving it today, and it don't look like the world really want the truth anymore, and it don't look like, and God said, but have I been faithful? But I told you in Timothy that they would turn against mothers and turn against fathers. And I told you that in the latter days, they would turn around and they'll go after men, and men will be going after men, and women be going after women. He said, I told you all of that. So when you come there and you see it, don't you be sidetracked. Just know that I'm faithful. The reason I could tell you what's going to happen because I'm Alpha and Omega. The reason I can tell you what's going to happen in the latter days is because I'm God. But one thing you can never accuse me of is not being faithful to you. Just because you had to go through the fire don't mean that I was not faithful to you. Just because you had to go through the storm does not mean that I was not faithful to you. I brought you out every storm you ever been in. I brought you out every fire that the enemy tried to throw at you. I brought you out of everything that you ever endured. And if you haven't come out yet, just keep hanging on by faith. My God has always been faithful. I tell my wife all the time, I said, I got a brother. His name Kenneth Anderson. I said, I don't have to see him, he'll come find me. He came to find me one day, came by the house and called me from the house. I still ain't called him back, because he my brother. And he came looking for me because he loved me. I didn't have to go run him down to prove that he did. When I walked in the office, he just went to railing all on me and telling me what I didn't do, and I just sit there and took it because that's what you're supposed to do. You're a brother. If brothers don't fight you, you don't have a brother. But one thing I can always say about you, y'all always been faithful. I can come to you broke and you go help me. I can come to you messed up and you go pray for me. And the reason you can do that is because God has done it with you and taught you how to be that way. See, don't tell me what you can't do for somebody else, because you have to do it because what God has done for you, you got to give it back. You got to love. You got to forgive. You got to restore. When you can walk in and say, God, I know what I plan to do, but I'm always do what you want to do. Because you've shown yourself so faithful that I don't have a word that's above your word. Somebody in here was losing your faith that God is God. And let me break that down. When you don't believe that God's going to do it, you're losing your faith. When you're going through and it don't look like you coming out and you start believing it, you're losing your faith. Your faith is on trial. Every day I wake up, my faith is on trial. I don't care what happened. If it's death, my faith is on trial. If it's sickness, my faith is on trial. If it's a lack of something, my faith is on trial. If I get a bad report, my faith is on trial. If I turn around and something getting ready to cost me, my faith is on trial. I got to always believe. I got to always believe. Oh, somebody, come on. I got to always believe that my God is an awesome God, and that my God knows exactly where I am, and that my God will never leave me nor forsake me, and that my God is a healer, and that my God is a provider, and that my God is a deliverer from any situation that I in. My faith is on trial every day, but my God has always been faithful. I don't care what it is, he's faithful. It might not even happen the way we want it to happen and come out the way we want it to come out, but he's faithful. And sometimes you got to talk to yourself. I don't care if you're the bishop. I don't care if you're the apostle. I don't care if you're the teacher. I don't care if you're the evangelist. I don't care if you preach it every day. There's some days you got to preach to yourself. That after I preach to many, that after I preach to many, I find myself to be a castaway. I got to see him as faithful. I got to know him. I understand what the pastor preaching. I understand what Apostle just said last week. But I got to believe myself that my God is an awesome God and that he's faithful. Lost my man, but he's still faithful. Lost my son, but he's still faithful. Lost my mother, but he's still faithful. Looked at my mother laying on that bed. Life had left her body. And I said to God, you still faithful. I had to hear me say that. I said, you are still faithful. You didn't heal her, but you still faithful. You didn't keep her, but you're still faithful. You have been faithful all my life. All my. When I thought I got out, you got me out. When I thought I slipped through, you allowed me to slip through. When I thought I got away with something I shouldn't have got away for, it was your mercy and grace that turned around, and your long suffering, allowing me some more time to get it right. You always been faithful. I can't find a time in my life that you were not faithful. When I thought I was by myself, you was carrying me. All my life, all 28 years of pastoring. And before I let you come in, I was working with you. I was faithful to you before you got here. And every time when there wasn't enough, I was faithful. And every time when there was a shortage, I was faithful. And every time somebody broke your heart, I was faithful. And every time somebody walked out on you, I was faithful. And every time somebody told you they weren't going to ever leave and they left you, I was faithful. And every time something happened, I don't care what it was, I showed myself faithful. And sometimes you got to just sit down and think about life. And the thing that seems like it's trying to worry you right now, if you compare it to the life that you done had, it's not as big as it look right now. Because the same God that got you out of all that life right there is the same God that gonna get you out of this right now. And the same one that brought you through back there is the same one that's gonna carry you through over there. And the same one that delivered you then is the same one that's gonna deliver you right now. Put your children under it. Put your life under it. Put your family under it. Put your finances under it. My God is an awesome God, and he's always been faithful. See, that's why you have to throw your hand up and praise him. That's why you have to worship him. That's why you have to turn around and sometimes just let it go, because he's proven and showed himself so faithful. I got to let it go. I got to give my children to him. I got to give my circumstance to him. I got to give my situation to him. Because if you don't bring me out, how am I going to get out? If I don't see a way, it don't mean that it's not a way. It's just that it's not my way. I got to see where you're going with me, God. Because I didn't see this 60 years ago. But you was faithful to get me here. I used to hear people say, weeping may endure for a night. But the next morning, joy didn't come. And joy didn't come the next morning. but I kept hanging on. And 21 days later, I got up one morning and joy had come. That still meant that weeping may endure for a night, but joy coming in the morning. He just didn't say what morning, but it came. Ah, yeah, it came. It was one of them mornings, joy is coming. Because my God is a faithful God, and he's faithful always. You ought to let it go. You ought to let it go. You ought to let it go. You ought to let it out. You ought to let it out. You ought to take this moment and let God deliver you and let it go. Don't sit there. Don't sit there and let the enemy keep you in bondage. When you know that it's been God. When you know you would not have made it out that situation if it was not for the Lord bringing you out of it. If you know it, get up on your feet and give God some glory up in this house for what he's done in your life. My God is faithful. 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 My God is a faithful God. Years, 28 years, 28 years, 28 years, faithful, faithful, faithful. They come and go, God faithful. They leave, God faithful. Church caught on fire. I ain't trying to hurt you. flames coming out the window. I ain't trying to hurt you. I'll never forget that. Sister Janice, as long as I live, those words. I'm not trying to hurt you. You looking at the house of God on fire, shooting water everywhere, and a voice comes out and say, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. Nobody but God. He showed himself faithful. I just stopped by to remind somebody, just in case you were slipping, or just in case something seemed to be coming up against your life. That's your present situation. But if I start adding up all that he's done and all that he's brought me out of, I got to be coming out of this. Because the same God that took me out of that, that brought me out of that, that delivered me out of that, that healed me out of that, that brought me back into my right mind after all of that, is the same God who was faithful then and has always been faithful. Same God that was faithful at Home Depot is still faithful. Just in a different season, but he's still faithful. Whatever you've been believing God for, over your children, over your grandchildren, don't ever stop believing it, because God is faithful. I don't care what they're doing, what they look like, and how they acting. Your prayers are like the prayers of Hannah. And if he answered hers, he's going to answer yours. Because he's faithful like that. She said, man of God, don't lie to me. I'm believing what you're telling me. Don't play with me right now. I'm in a situation right now in my life with God that I'm believing God for a son. And you just told me that this time next year, I'm going to have a son. Don't lie to me. Because I believe what God is saying to you is God himself. And 1 year later, Samuel shows up. Because God is faithful. All my life. All my life. Even when I didn't believe, he showed up faithful. Even when I struggled sometimes, he showed up faithful. Even when I was in doubt, he showed up faithful. He's always been faithful. I want everybody just to stand to your feet. If you got feet to stand. And I just want you to take a moment and raise your hand in the air. And I want you to take 60 seconds and thank God for his faithfulness over your life. Just over your life. Don't worry about nobody beside you. Don't worry about nobody behind you. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing. Don't even worry about if you're looking, ain't nobody doing it. Don't worry about it. I want you to know that you came into the house of God today. And you didn't leave out without thanking him for being faithful. That you didn't leave without telling him you're sorry for the times that you didn't thank him for what he did. That you didn't leave without recognizing how good he's been to you. That you didn't leave knowing that he's heard every prayer that you ever put up. That you didn't leave knowing that he got your children wrapped up in his hand. He got your grand wrapped up in his. He got your wayward ones that that keep you up all night. Don't worry. God is faithful. I might not pull him at 22, but I got a plan for 32. You might can't say nothing while they're 18, but they'll listen to me if they make it to 28. Because I'm faithful. You don't think I can get your child? I got Pastor Anderson. I got Pastor Garland Jones. I got them, and they thought they had a life of their own, and they were going to do what they had to do, and they didn't think that I could get them either. But I got them because I'm faithful. And somebody was praying for him, and somebody was praying for me. And God honored their prayer because he's faithful. Is there anybody in here who want to give your life to the Lord today? This is your first time you want to be saved. I want you to come. If there's anybody who's backslidden and you've been away from the Lord and you want to rededicate your commitment to God on this 28th anniversary, I want you to come too. If there's anybody who say, you know, I need to step out on faith and for prayer for something that I've been holding on to, then I want you to come too. And don't wait for nobody, because you might be the only body. Too often we look around and see who coming. It ain't the person that coming and need it, it's the one that came. come. Come quickly. I want to pray and don't want to delay anything. I want to move forward. Oh, Father. God has been good in this house today. I said, God has been good in this house today, and he's spoken a rhema word for a rhema season. And I wouldn't let it go by without me being and doing what I need to do. Because this could be your day. And it could be the day of the rest of your life for what God is about to do in your life, because he's faithful. He's faithful. He is faithful. He's faithful. Father, in the name of Jesus, every petition is at this altar. Answer it now. No delays, no tomorrow, now. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. The footsteps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. It simply means I know which way to send you, and I know how to bring you back. Don't carry no extra clothes with you. Don't carry no food with you. And don't worry about where you go sleep, because I got you. That's what trusting me. I got you. You know where I am. You know what I need. You know how I need it. And you know what day I need it on. And you got to trust and believe that God said, I got you. I got you. I got you, Mother. I got the situation and the circumstance. I'm handling it while you standing here. I know what day is coming. I can tell you what hour is coming. I'm God.